Take me to the hospital. Rain hammered down as Maya doubled over in the alley, her water broken, phone dead, and completely alone in Seoul. The black Mercedes appeared out of nowhere, sleek, expensive, dangerous. The man who stepped out looked like he'd walked straight out of a dark fairy tale. Designer suit, cold eyes, the kind of presence that made people nervous. "You're getting my Tom Ford wet," he said. Maya didn't care if she ruined his $1,000 suit. She grabbed his lapel with desperate hands. "Please, I'm begging you." He caught her wrist. Not rough, but firm enough to show his strength. For one terrifying second, she thought he'd leave her there. But then his expression shifted, and he said something that would change her life forever. "Get in. Before you have that baby in my favorite alley." She had no idea she just grabbed the most dangerous man in Seoul. She had no idea he'd refuse to let her go. And she definitely had no idea that in 9 months, she'd be standing at an altar wearing white. This is the story of how a desperate pregnant woman accidentally became a mafia queen. And trust me, you need to hear what happens next, because chapter 3 gets wild. Okay, quick interruption. My mom literally said I can't post the rest of this story until I hit 1,000 subscribers. She's holding chapters 8, 9, and 10 hostage, and honestly, she's more terrifying than any mafia boss in this story. So here's the deal. If you're invested in Maya and Jae's story, if you need to know what happens when his rival shows up, if you're dying to see their first real conflict, smash that subscribe button right now. Drop a comment telling me, Team Jae or Team Maya run? Because the comments section is more divided than I expected, and I'm living for it. And listen, I see you lurking without subscribing. I know you're there. The algorithm told me. Just hit the button. It's free, it takes 2 seconds, and it means I get to keep making these stories without my mom's judgment. Like this video and subscribe to my channel if you want more mafia romance, more rom-com chaos, and more billionaires who are secretly soft for their girls. The contraction hit like a freight train, and Maya doubled over in the rain-soaked alley, her phone screen cracked and useless in her trembling hand. Perfect. Just perfect. Her water had broken 20 minutes ago in the middle of Seoul's Hongdae district, her best friend was unreachable, and the only taxi driver who'd stopped had taken one look at her situation and sped away like she was about to give birth to an alien. "Help," she gasped, stumbling toward the street. "Please, someone." A black Mercedes pulled up so smoothly it seemed to materialize from the shadows. The door opened, and a man stepped out, tall, devastatingly handsome, wearing a 3-piece suit that probably cost more than her entire apartment. His dark eyes assessed her with a kind of cold calculation that should have terrified her, but another contraction was building and terror took a back seat to survival. "Take me to the hospital," she panted, grabbing his designer lapel with her wet hands. "Please, I'm begging you." He caught her wrist. Not roughly, but with enough firmness to make her aware of his strength. "You're getting my Tom Ford wet." "Are you seriously?" She broke off with a groan, and his expression shifted from annoyance to something unreadable. "Get in," he said, already guiding her toward the car. "Before you have that baby in my favorite alley." "Your favorite alley," she managed between breaths as he helped her into the back seat. The leather was buttersoft and probably cost more than a hospital bill. "I conduct important business here." He slid in beside her, barking something in rapid Korean to his driver. "When's the last contraction?" 3 minutes ago. "Who has a favorite alley?" "Someone who appreciates privacy." His hand, large, warm, surprisingly gentle, pressed against her lower back. "Breathe. In through your nose, out through your mouth." Maya wanted to snap that she knew how to breathe, but the pressure of his palm was actually helping. "You've done this before?" "I've seen things more traumatic than childbirth." "Comforting," she gasped. "You're really bad at this." The corner of his mouth twitched. Almost a smile. "I'm told I'm bad at many things." "Let me guess. Empathy? Basic human kindness? Not being cryptic and weird." Now he definitely smiled, and it transformed his face from coldly beautiful to dangerously attractive. "You're surprisingly mouthy for someone in active labor. And you're surprisingly helpful for someone who," she grabbed his hand as another contraction peaked. His fingers laced through hers without hesitation, anchoring her. "Oh God, that one was bad." "We're 5 minutes out," he said, his thumb stroking circles on her palm. "What's your name?" Maya. Maya Chun. She squeezed his hand so hard she was probably breaking bones, but he didn't flinch. And you are? Concerned citizen. Try again. His eyes met hers, dark and infinite. Dangerous. Is that your actual name or a warning? Both. He reached up and brushed a wet strand of hair from her forehead, the gesture so tender it made her breath catch for reasons that had nothing to do with labor. But you can call me Jae. The hospital's lights appeared through the rain-streaked window like a beacon. Maya should have felt relief, but instead, she felt a strange reluctance as Jae's driver pulled up to the emergency entrance. This mysterious man with his expensive suit and careful hands had appeared when she needed him most, and now. Wait, she said as he started to pull away. You're not just leaving, are you? Jae paused, his hand still in hers. Something flickered across his face. Surprise, maybe, or conflict. You want me to stay? I don't even know you. Exactly. But you held my hand. That counts for something. Another almost smile. In my world, it counts for quite a lot. What world is that? The doors opened. Medical staff rushed toward them. And Jae leaned close, his breath warm against her ear, one where I shouldn't want to stay, but I'm going to anyway. Then he was helping her onto the gurney, speaking authoritatively to the nurses in Korean, his hand never leaving hers even as they wheeled her inside. Maya caught glimpses of the staff's nervous glances at him, the way they straightened their postures and hurried to comply with his quiet requests. Who was this man? And why did his presence make her feel safer than she'd felt in months? Sir, you'll need to wait a nurse began. I'm her husband, Jae said smoothly. Maya's eyes widened. You're my what? He looked down at her, and this time his smile was real, crooked and unexpectedly charming. Congratulations, wife. Hope you don't mind I skipped the proposal. Before she could respond, another contraction hit, and his hand tightened around hers. I'm going to kill you after this baby is born, she groaned. I look forward to it. Push, Maya. One more big push. Maya was going to murder him. Slowly. Painfully. With whatever medical instruments were within reach. You, she panted, glaring at Jae through the haze of pain and epidural, are the worst fake husband in the history of fake husbands. He had the audacity to look amused, standing beside her in borrowed scrubs that somehow made him look even more dangerously attractive. Who looked good in hospital scrubs? Apparently, mysterious Korean men who lied to emergency room staff. I've been your husband for 45 minutes and you're already criticizing my performance. His thumb traced circles on her palm. Most couples wait at least a year. Most couples actually marry each other first, oh God. Another contraction, another push, and suddenly, a baby's cry filled the room. Maya's vision blurred with tears as the nurse placed a tiny perfect human on her chest. A girl. She had a daughter. The reality of it crashed over her like a wave, and she forgot about the pain, forgot about her fear, forgot everything except this impossible miracle. She's beautiful, Jae murmured, and something in his voice made Maya look up. His expression was unguarded for the first time, soft, almost vulnerable. What will you name her? Lily. The name came without thinking. Her father wanted, if it was a girl. She didn't finish. Couldn't. The father who'd left the moment she told him she was pregnant, who'd made it clear he wanted nothing to do with either of them. But Jae just nodded like he understood everything she wasn't saying. Lily is perfect. The nurses whisked the baby away for checks, and Maya suddenly felt exhausted in a way that had nothing to do with labor. The adrenaline was wearing off, reality creeping back in. She was alone. A single mother in a foreign country with no family nearby, no partner, and medical bills she couldn't afford. Hey. Jae's hand cupped her cheek, turning her face toward him. Where did you go? Reality. She tried to smile, but it wobbled. Thank you for staying. You can go now. I'm sure you have important favorite alley business to attend to. Actually, I cleared my schedule. You cleared your, she blinked. Why? Because my wife just had a baby. He said it so matter-of-factly, like temporary fake marriages were a regular occurrence. It would be poor form to leave now. Jae, when's the last time you ate? The question caught her off guard. Yesterday? Maybe. His jaw tightened. Yesterday. I was busy being pregnant and terrified. You're going to eat. Then sleep. Then we're going to have a conversation about why you were alone in an alley in active labor. Bossy much? You have no idea. He stood, and she immediately missed his warmth. I'll be back in 20 minutes. You really don't have to. Maya. He leaned down, his face close to hers. I don't do things I don't want to do. Ever. If I'm here, it's because I choose to be. Understand? She nodded, not trusting her voice. Good girl. The words sent an unexpected shiver through her, and from the way his eyes darkened he noticed. For a long moment, they just stared at each other, the air between them thick with something she was too exhausted to analyze. Then he was gone, and Maya was left wondering what the hell just happened. 20 minutes later, Jae returned with enough food to feed a small army. Kimbap, mayakuk, fresh fruit, even a chocolate croissant from somewhere that definitely wasn't the hospital cafeteria. How did you get all this? Maya asked, struggling to sit up. He immediately moved to help her, adjusting pillows with surprising gentleness. I made a phone call. To who? A catering company? Something like that. He unwrapped the seaweed soup, the traditional post-partum meal. My mother would never forgive me if I didn't ensure you had proper mayakuk. Your mother knows about me? Not yet. He held a spoonful to her lips. But she will. Maya's brain was too foggy to process that statement, so she just opened her mouth. The soup was perfect, rich, nourishing, exactly what she needed. Jae fed her with patient focus, like he had nowhere else to be. This is weird, right? She said between bites. This whole situation is completely insane. Undeniably. So why are you still here? He set down the spoon, his dark eyes studying her. Do you believe in fate, Maya? I believe in bad timing and worse decisions. That earned her another almost smile. Fair enough. But humor me. What if I told you I was in that alley tonight because I was supposed to be? I'd say you were trying to sound mysterious and romantic. Is it working? She laughed despite herself. Maybe a little. Then my plan is succeeding. He picked up the spoon again. Eat more. You need your strength. For what? His expression turned serious. For when I tell you the truth about who I am. Maya's stomach dropped. That sounds ominous. It's complicated. Try me. I just pushed a human out of my body. I can handle complicated. Jae was quiet for a moment, and she could see him weighing his words. Finally he said, my family is involved in certain business operations. Ones that operate outside traditional legal frameworks. It took her a second. Then, oh my God. You're actually in the Mafia. We prefer the term organized business collective. That's the same thing. Technically. You're a criminal. She tried to sound scandalized, but mostly just sounded tired. I let a criminal pretend to be my husband. A very helpful criminal, he pointed out, who got you to the hospital safely and is currently feeding you soup. This is insane. This whole night is insane. She grabbed the spoon from him. I can feed myself. I don't need help from what even is your official title? Mobster? Gangster? Really well-dressed lawbreaker? I prefer Executive Director of Alternative Commerce. Despite everything, Maya giggled. You did not just say that. I did. He was fully smiling now, and it was devastating. And for the record, I'm very good at my job. I don't doubt it. She took another bite of soup, her mind racing. She should be scared. Should be planning her escape. But all she felt was curious. So what does an executive director of alternative commerce do, exactly? Mostly boring administrative work. Occasionally exciting but morally ambiguous adventures. You're not going to give me a straight answer, are you? Not tonight. He brushed a strand of hair behind her ear, the gesture achingly gentle. Tonight, you just had a baby. Tonight, you need to rest. Tomorrow, We can discuss the complexity of my moral fiber. And then you'll disappear? The question came out more vulnerable than she intended. Jae's hand stilled against her cheek. Is that what you want? I don't know what I want. It was the truth. I don't know anything anymore. Then let me make it simple. He leaned closer, his voice dropping to something low and intimate. I'm going to stay. I'm going to make sure you and Lily have everything you need. And then? Then what? His smile turned wicked. Then I'm going to take you to dinner. I just had a baby. Eventually. When you're ready. His thumb traced her lower lip, sending heat spiraling through her exhausted body. Because, Maya-chan, I wasn't supposed to want to stay. I wasn't supposed to care. But here we are, and I find myself very interested in getting to know the mouthy American who grabbed my Tom Ford suit in an alley. It needed cleaning anyway, she whispered. Probably. He pulled back, and she immediately missed his warmth. Now sleep. I'll be right here. You don't have to. Maya. Sleep. She wanted to argue, but her eyes were already closing. Just before she drifted off, she felt his hand wrap around hers, warm and solid and somehow exactly what she needed. This was crazy. Impossible. A disaster waiting to happen. So why did it feel like the beginning of something wonderful? Maya woke to sunlight streaming through hospital blinds and the distant sound of a baby crying, her baby crying. She bolted upright, immediately regretting the sudden movement as her body reminded her that yes, she'd just given birth 12 hours ago. Easy. A hand steadied her shoulder, and she turned to find Jae in the chair beside her bed, looking impossibly put together for someone who'd spent the night in a hospital. His suit jacket was draped over the chair back, sleeves rolled to his elbows, and he had a cup of coffee in one hand. The nurses just took Lily for her morning check. She'll be back in 10 minutes. You stayed? The words came out scratchy. All night. I said I would. People say lots of things. His expression softened. I'm not people, Maya. When I make a promise, I keep it. She wanted to believe him. God, she really wanted to believe him. But she'd learned the hard way that pretty words from handsome men usually led to heartbreak and empty bank accounts. Lily's father said a lot of things too, she muttered, accepting the water bottle he offered. Right up until he didn't. Jae was quiet for a moment, his jaw tight. When he spoke, his voice was carefully controlled. Tell me about him. Why? So you can judge my terrible taste in men. So I know whether to have him killed. Maya choked on her water. What? I'm joking. His smile didn't reach his eyes. Mostly. That's not funny. You're right. I apologize. He set down his coffee, giving her his full attention. But I am curious. How does a man walk away from this? Easy. He gets scared, decides fatherhood isn't for him, and disappears. She tried to keep the bitterness from her voice and failed. We dated for 6 months. I thought it was serious. Turns out I was the only one thinking that. He's an idiot. He's a coward. That too. Jae reached over and tucked a strand of hair behind her ear, the gesture becoming familiar. But his loss is my gain. Your gain? We met 12 hours ago in an alley. Best 12 hours of my month. Your month must be pretty boring. You'd be surprised. He leaned back, studying her with those dark, intelligent eyes. I run a multi-million-dollar operation, manage over 200 employees, and regularly negotiate with people who'd happily put a bullet in my head. But last night, holding your hand while you brought life into the world? That was extraordinary. Maya's heart did something stupid and fluttery. You're really good at this. At what? Saying things that make women forget you're a criminal. He laughed, a real genuine laugh that transformed his entire face. I prefer morally flexible entrepreneur. Still a criminal. Semantics. He stood, moving to the window. For what it's worth, I don't do anything that harms innocence. No drugs, no human trafficking, nothing that destroys lives. Just regular illegal things? Mostly import-export disagreements with government regulations. He turned back to her, and his expression was serious. I know what I am, Maya. I'm not going to lie to you or pretend I'm something I'm not. But I'm also not the monster you might be imagining. What are you then? Someone who takes care of what's his. The possessiveness in his voice sent a shiver down her spine. I'm not yours. Not yet. His smile was pure sin. But I'm a patient man. Before she could respond, a nurse bustled in with Lily, and Maya's entire world narrowed to her daughter. She was perfect, tiny and pink and absolutely terrifying in how much Maya already loved her. Someone's hungry, the nurse said cheerfully, helping Maya position Lily for feeding. Dad, you might want to step out for a few minutes. He's not, Maya started. I'll grab you breakfast, Jae interrupted smoothly. Any preferences? Maya wanted to correct the nurse's assumption, but Jae was already heading for the door, throwing her a wink over his shoulder that made her stomach flip. Impossible man. Impossible, attractive, criminal man who was somehow making her feel things she absolutely shouldn't feel less than 24 hours after giving birth. This was a disaster. A disaster she was finding increasingly difficult to resist. When Jae returned 30 minutes later, he wasn't alone. He was followed by an impeccably dressed woman in her 60s carrying enough designer shopping bags to stock a small boutique. Jae, the woman said in Korean, swatting his arm. You didn't tell me she was so pretty. Iyama, Jae replied, looking slightly panicked, the first time Maya had seen him anything close to flustered. I said I'd introduce you later. Later? My son calls and says he's at a hospital with a woman and baby, and I'm supposed to wait. She swept past him and zeroed in on Maya with a smile that was both warm and terrifying. Hello dear. I'm Mrs. Kang, Jae's mother. And you must be exhausted, let me see that precious baby. Maya looked at Jae helplessly. He just shrugged, but she caught the affection in his eyes as he watched his mother fuss over Lily. She's beautiful, Mrs. Kang cooed, then switched seamlessly to English with barely an accent. And you, young lady, need proper postpartum care. I brought you seaweed soup, the good kind, not whatever hospital nonsense, and some comfortable clothes because hospital gowns are depressing. Mrs. Kang, that's very kind, but you don't have to. Of course I don't have to. I want to. She fixed Maya with a look that brooked no argument. Any woman who can make my son spend an entire night in a hospital chair instead of running his empire is worth taking care of. I wasn't running, Jae started. You stayed all night? His mother's eyes gleamed. Interesting. Iyama. Very interesting. She turned back to Maya. He never stays anywhere uncomfortable. Not for anyone. You must be special. Maya felt heat creep up her neck. We only just met. Last night. In an alley. He helped me get to the hospital. An alley. Mrs. Kang rounded on her son. You didn't mention an alley. It was my favorite alley, Jae said defensively. You have a favorite alley? What am I raising? But she was smiling, and Maya suddenly saw where Jae got his devastating charm. Well, alley or not, you're here now, and that's what matters. Maya SSI, how long are you staying in Seoul? I live here. I teach English at a language school. Wonderful. Then we'll have plenty of time to get to know each other. She started unpacking the bags, clothes, toiletries, baby supplies, enough to suggest this wasn't a casual visit. Jae, go get the rest from the car. There's more. Maya asked faintly. Of course there's more. A baby needs things. Mrs. Kang waved her son away. Go. Let me talk to Maya alone. Jae hesitated, his eyes meeting Maya's. She could see the question there. Are you okay with this? Surprisingly, she was. Mrs. Kang was overwhelming, but in a warm maternal way that Maya hadn't experienced since her own mother passed away 3 years ago. She nodded, and Jae left, though not before giving his mother a look that clearly said behave. The moment he was gone, Mrs. Kang settled into the chair beside Maya's bed, her expression turning serious. My son is a good man, she said quietly. But he's also complicated. His world is not simple. He told me about the family business. Did he? She looked surprised. He must really like you. He doesn't usually share that information. Mrs. Kang. Call me Iyama. Everyone does. She reached over and squeezed Maya's hand. I'm not here to scare you or warn you away. I'm here because I saw something in my son's eyes this morning that I haven't seen in years. Hope. Maya's throat tightened. I don't understand. You don't have to. Not yet. Iyama smiled. Just know that you and this beautiful baby are safe. My son will make sure of that. And so will I. Why? You don't even know me. I know enough. I know you're brave, getting on that plane to Korea alone and pregnant. I know you're strong, making a life here without family. And I know you're stubborn, I can see it in your eyes. Her smile widened. You're perfect for him. We're not, it's not like that. He just helped me. Jae doesn't just help people, Iyama interrupted gently. He's many things, my son, but charitable isn't one of them. If he's here, it's because he wants to be. Trust that. Before Maya could process that statement, Jae returned with more bags, and the moment shifted. But as Mrs. Kang fussed over baby supplies and Jae rolled his eyes at his mother's enthusiasm, Maya felt something warm unfurling in her chest. This was insane. Completely, utterly insane. But maybe, just maybe, it was also exactly what she needed. Hours later, after Mrs. Kang had finally left with promises to return tomorrow with proper food, Maya found herself alone with Jae again. Lily was sleeping peacefully in her bassinet, and the evening sun cast golden light across the hospital room. Your mother is amazing, Maya said. She's terrifying, Jae corrected, but his voice was fond. I apologize for the ambush. Don't. It was nice. I haven't had someone fuss over me like that since my mom died. His expression softened. I'm sorry. That must have been difficult. It was. Still is. She looked down at Lily. I wish she could have met her granddaughter. Tell me about her. So Maya did. She talked about her mother, her love of terrible puns and romance novels, her fierce protection of her only daughter, her stubborn refusal to give up even when cancer was ravaging her body. Jae listened with complete attention, asking questions, laughing at the funny stories, and somehow making her feel less alone than she had in years. She would have liked you, Maya said finally. Even with the whole criminal enterprise thing. Executive Director of Alternative Commerce, he corrected with a grin. Same thing. Semantics. He stood, stretching. I should let you rest. You're leaving. She hated how disappointed she sounded. Just for tonight. I have some business to handle. He moved to her bedside, and suddenly he was close, so close she could smell his cologne, something expensive and cedar warm. But I'll be back tomorrow morning. With better coffee than the hospital swill. You don't have to keep coming back. I know. His hand cupped her cheek, thumb brushing across her skin. I want to. Why? The question came out breathless. Because 12 hours ago, a beautiful mouthy woman grabbed my $5,000 suit and demanded I help her. And instead of being annoyed, all I could think was finally. His eyes were dark, intense. Finally, something interesting. Someone interesting. I'm not interesting. I'm a single mother with student loans and a studio apartment. You're extraordinary. He leaned down, and for one heart-stopping moment, Maya thought he was going to kiss her. Instead, his lips brushed her forehead, achingly gentle. Sleep, Maya. Dream of something good. Then he was gone, leaving her alone with her sleeping daughter and a heart that was beating far too fast. She was in so much trouble. Maya woke to chaos. Not the gentle gradual wake-up of a new mother adjusting to her baby's schedule, but actual chaos, raised voices in rapid Korean outside her door, the sound of something hitting the wall, and then Jae's voice, cold and dangerous in a way she hadn't heard before. She grabbed her robe, checking that Lily was still sleeping peacefully, and cracked open the door. Jae stood in the hallway facing 3 men in expensive suits. His body language was relaxed, but Maya could see the tension in his shoulders, the way his hand rested casually near his hip where, oh God, was that a gun? Don't care what your boss thinks, Jae was saying in English, clearly for her benefit. This hospital is off limits. Leave. Now. Mr. Kang, we just need 5 minutes. You need to leave before I make you leave. His voice dropped to something lethal. And trust me, you don't want that. One of the men noticed Maya in the doorway. His expression shifted to something calculating. Is that her? The woman from last night? Everything happened very fast. Jae moved, blocking the man's view of Maya with his body. The temperature in the hallway seemed to drop 20 degrees. And when he spoke, his voice was pure ice. Look at her again and lose your eyes. Talk about her and lose your tongue. Even think about her and I'll make sure you don't think about anything ever again. He stepped forward, and the three men actually backed up. Am I being clear? Crystal, one of them managed. Good. Now get out of my sight before I change my mind about being civilized. They left so fast they practically tripped over each other. Maya stood frozen in the doorway, her heart hammering, as Jae turned back to her. His expression immediately shifted from terrifying to concerned. Are you okay? He was at her side in 2 strides, hands gentle on her shoulders. I'm sorry you saw that. Who were they? No one important. But his jaw was tight. Business associates who don't understand boundaries. Jae, let's get you back inside. He guided her back into the room, checked on Lily, then turned to face Maya with an expression that was equal parts apologetic and resigned. I need to tell you something. Her stomach dropped. That sounds ominous. It's complicated. He ran a hand through his hair, the first time she'd seen him anything less than perfectly composed. Last night, when I helped you, people saw. My people. And in my world, that means something. What does it mean? It means they think you're mine. He held up a hand before she could protest. I know. We've known each other less than 48 hours. This is insane. But in the world I operate in, protecting someone, especially so publicly, sends a message. What message? That you're under my protection. That hurting you means answering to me. His eyes were dark, intense. Maya, I need you to understand something. There are people who will want to use you to get to me now. Not because you matter to me, though you do, but because I made you matter by showing up here. The room felt too small suddenly. Are you saying I'm in danger? No. His voice was firm. You're the safest person in Seoul right now because anyone who even looks at you wrong will have to answer to me. But it also means... He hesitated. It means your life just got more complicated. Maya sank onto the bed, trying to process. This is crazy. This whole situation is completely insane. Yes. I should tell you to leave. To stay away from me and Lily. You should. But you're not going to, are you? A slow smile spread across his face. Not a chance. Why? She stood up, facing him. Why me? You could have anyone. Why get involved with a broke English teacher and her newborn baby? He closed the distance between them in 2 steps, his hands framing her face. Because when you grabbed my suit in that alley, you didn't see the man everyone else sees. You didn't see the money or the power or the reputation. You saw someone who could help, and you asked. No fear, no calculation, just need. His thumb brushed her cheekbone. Do you know how rare that is in my world? I was in labor. I wasn't exactly thinking clearly. You were perfect. His voice dropped lower. You are perfect. I'm a mess. You're beautiful. I haven't showered in 2 days. Still beautiful. Jae. Maya. His forehead touched hers, and she could feel his breath on her lips. I know this is fast. I know it's complicated. But I also know that I haven't felt this alive in years, and I'm not walking away from that. From you. Her hands had somehow found their way to his chest, feeling his heart beat steady and strong under her palms. You're going to break my heart. Never. The word was a promise. I'll protect it like I protect everything that's mine. I'm not yours. Not yet, he agreed, echoing his words from yesterday. But you will be. The arrogance should have annoyed her. Instead, it sent heat spiraling through her body. Pretty confident. I'm very good at getting what I want. And you want me? Desperately. His lips ghosted across her jaw, not quite kissing, just barely touching. But I'm a patient man, remember? I can wait until you're ready. Ready for what? For this. And then he was kissing her, soft and sweet and achingly gentle, like she was something precious. His hands cradled her face like she was made of glass, and Maya melted into him, her fingers curling into his shirt. The kiss was nothing like she expected. There was heat, yes, but also tenderness. Care. Like he was memorizing the taste of her, learning her, cherishing this first moment. When he pulled back, they were both breathing hard. That was, Maya started. A mistake, he supplied, but he was smiling. I was going to say amazing. His smile turned wicked. Even better. A cry from the bassinet interrupted them, and they both turned to see Lily making her displeasure known. Jae moved immediately, lifting her with surprising confidence. Hey there, little one, he murmured, and the baby quieted almost instantly. Did we wake you? I apologize. Your mother and I were having a moment. You're good with her, Maya observed, watching him cradle Lily. I have 5 younger cousins. I've held plenty of babies. He looked up, his expression soft. But this one is special. Why? Because she's yours. And there it was again, that warmth in her chest, that dangerous flutter of hope. Maya moved beside him, looking down at her daughter, and felt Jae's free arm wrap around her waist, pulling her close. This was insane. She'd known this man for 36 hours. She had no business feeling this comfortable, this safe, this right in his arms. But she did. God help her, she really did. 3 days later, Maya was finally cleared to go home. Home being her tiny studio apartment in Itaewon that suddenly felt completely inadequate for a newborn. She'd been stressing about it all morning, the broken elevator, the questionable heating, the fact that her nursery was literally a corner with a second-hand crib. Ready? Jae asked, appearing in her doorway with a wheelchair and a smile that made her forget about broken elevators. The doctor said I could walk. Humor me. He helped her into the chair despite her protests. My mother would kill me if I let you overdo it. Your mother has called me 4 times today. She's excited. I haven't brought a woman home in 3 years. Maya's head whipped around. You haven't, wait, I'm not coming home with you. I have an apartment. About that. Jae suddenly looked uncomfortable, which should have been a warning sign. I may have taken the liberty of making some arrangements. What kind of arrangements? The kind where your apartment now has a functioning elevator, new heating system, and completely renovated bathroom. Maya's mouth fell open. You did what? And possibly expanded the living space by combining it with the vacant unit next door. He said it quickly, like speed would make it less insane. With proper nursery space and a security system. Jae. She tried to stand, but he gently pushed her back down. You can't just renovate someone's apartment without asking. Technically, I asked your landlord. He was very amenable once I explained the situation. What situation? That his building codes were violations waiting to happen and I'd hate to have to report them. His smile was pure innocence. But then I offered to fund the renovations instead, and everyone won. That's, she couldn't even find words. You're insane. I prefer proactive. He started wheeling her down the hall. Maya, your apartment had mold in the bathroom and a space heater from 1995. Lily deserves better than that. I was handling it. Now you don't have to. She wanted to be angry. She should be angry. But as they reached the hospital entrance and she saw the black Mercedes waiting, the same one from that rainy night, she felt something else entirely. Why? She asked quietly. Why are you doing all this? Jae crouched beside the wheelchair, his eyes level with hers. Because I can. Because I want to. Because taking care of you makes me happy. He tucked a strand of hair behind her ear. Is that allowed? I don't know. I've never had anyone want to take care of me before. Then let me be the first. He stood, offering his hand. Come on. Let me show you what I did to your apartment. If you hate it, I'll put it back exactly how it was. You're lying. Completely. His grin was unrepentant. But you'll love it anyway. He wasn't wrong. Maya walked into her apartment, or what used to be her apartment, and couldn't speak. The cramped studio had been transformed into a spacious one-bedroom with an actual nursery. The floors gleamed with new hardwood, the kitchen had modern appliances, and the bathroom looked like something from a luxury hotel. "Jae," she breathed, turning in a slow circle. "This is too much. It's not enough." He was watching her carefully, Lily sleeping peacefully in his arms. "But it's a start." "A start to what?" "To proving I'm serious about this. About us." "There is no us." "Not really." But even as she said it, she knew it was a lie. There was definitely an us forming, terrifying as that was. "Not yet," he agreed, settling Lily into the brand new crib that looked like it cost more than Maya's car. "But there will be." "You're very sure of yourself." "I'm sure of you." He moved closer, backing her against the kitchen counter. "I'm sure that you feel this too. This thing between us. Chemistry isn't enough. It's not just chemistry." His hands landed on either side of her, caging her in. "It's the way you challenge me. Make me laugh. Look at me like I'm a person instead of a title." His voice dropped lower. "It's the way you fit in my arms like you were made for them." "Jae, tell me I'm wrong." His face was inches from hers now. "Tell me you don't feel it and I'll back off. I'll just be your friend, your neighbor who happens to have renovated your apartment."